Hello again, my name is Mohammed. In detailing the news, following the successful fulfillment of the requirements outlined in the staff-level agreement with the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, the Executive Board has approved the disbursement of the third tranche of the $360 million to Ghana. Now, according to the Minister of Finance, Dr. Mohammed the funds are scheduled to be credited to the Bank of Ghana's accounts on July 1, which is today. The minister expressed his gratitude to the Ghanaian people for their forbearance and resilience as the government diligently works to navigate the complex economic challenges facing the nation. He reiterated its commitment to restoring macroeconomic stability and promoting sustainable growth by government.
It gives me great pleasure to update you on the IMF-supported program. After meeting the requirements for the second review, following the staff-level agreement, I'm glad to announce that the IMF Executive Board has today, Friday, 28th June 2024, approved Ghana's second review with overwhelming support for Ghana from the executive directors. Consistent with our resolve to stay the course on the implementation of the $3 billion three-year IMF-supported post-COVID-19 program for economic growth, PCPEG, we successfully hosted an IMF mission in April 2024, which came to Ghana to undertake the second review of the implementation of the program. This is coming after an earlier approval of the first review in January 2024. This is yet an important positive development in our journey towards macroeconomic stability. And we expect to receive the third tranche of $360 million by Monday, 1st July 2024, which will bring to total disbursement $1.56 billion.
So that's the news. Today we're expecting some $360 million to hit the accounts of the Bank of Ghana. Let's find out what impact this will yield. Professor Richmond Etuahine is a banking consultant and he joins us via Zoom. Prof, good morning to you. Will you say this is good news? Prof, if you can kindly unmute for me.
Yeah, good morning.
Great. I can hear you now. I trust you're doing well.
Yeah, by His grace, I'm doing very well.
Is this the good news that we were waiting for?
I am Dr. Etuahine.
Oh, yes, Dr. Etuahine. Well, I am elevating you like Ghana's economy is being elevated. Now, back to the conversation. Is this the good news we've been waiting for?
Well, the debt became an albatross hanging on our head. At least managing to even bring it to a successful end. That, from that aspect, is a very good news because it's been hanging on too long. And it creates uncertainties in the financial market. But now that we have managed to bring it to a close, it means that the market would at least settle so that there will be calmness in the market. So for me, for that aspect, it's a very, very good news.
Some say it is a good indicator to opening up the country to international financial markets. Is that the case?
Thank you very much. I think those who haven't read the literature will get it wrong. The nearest you can go to the market, according to literature, is 2 years. The nearest. Some even take countries like Greek took 8 years before you can enter into the capital market. The reason being is that it is now that you're going to look at the macroeconomic challenges, especially inflation rocketing, CD depreciating, your balance of payment position not in a good position, and also your projections. I mean, what am I going to do? The reason why I don't normally consider this as a big news is that the problem is that when the payments actually started crystallizing, but one will be 2026, the bilateral. and then the multilateral is going to happen in 2029.
Yeah.
The first thing that we have to build ourselves, what are we going to do to be able to build reserves, foreign reserves, to be able to pay for the debt that has been rescheduled? It is only when this strategy has been designed, and then I would say we are on the right path. But if we're going to go the same way, like depending on cocoa, and when cocoa is nowhere to be found, depending upon gold, where we only get about 13 to 14%, I mean, it will be very difficult for the years ahead. Like my brother, senior brother Ken Thompson said, it's not going to be the usual business, because going into the market is not going to be easy. Because let us start from inflation at 54%. Currently is 23%. We are nowhere near where you can say you create microeconomic stability. Your policy rate is ranging at 29.5. Your interest rate is running about, God knows, about 30 to 40%. Your currency, I mean, apart from yesterday that I saw that Nigeria has become the worst performing currency according to Bloomberg. We used to be the lead. So, I mean, to get all these factors into place is not going to be easy. And it's not going to allow you to go into the market. The mere fact that you have restructured the debt is not enough. The question comes, how am I going to pay when the maturity comes in?
Now, Doc, let's do a little scrutiny of the first two tranches. From where you sit, has it yielded any result? Is it reason for which we're seeing the significant gains, the CD's significant gains against the dollar?
I don't know where you're coming from saying the CD is gaining grounds. This morning, I've been reliably told that the pound is nearly 220. So when the person said I wanted to cross-check it, I mean, the problem that we have, I think, is bigger than the way it's being proclaimed to us. I mean, people are not, I won't say they're not being honest,
okay,
but they need to come clean, because the challenges are bigger than that. I mean, we've taken about 1.6 billion. What has it done to the foreign exchange? I mean, it is not enough. I mean, we're going to look for only 360 million and we are clapping. When oil marketing companies take 400 million every month, so even this 360 is not up to the oil marketing for 1 month, let alone the other sectors. So I don't think we have seen the best out of it. It will take us a longer time. Let me use the word longer time. We're not going to see the CD appreciating just because you go 360 million. No. It doesn't work like that.
Some say it is a significant step. However, there is a dark shadow hovering around. Do you agree?
Yeah, significant step is that you bankrupted yourself. I mean, let me say, you put yourself in a situation where you had nothing to show. So your debtors say, like, let us give you a briefing space. I mean, for that matter, the minister was right in saying that he has done a job, because if the debt continue to hang on our neck like an albatross, it will be very difficult for even the donors, or the multilateral or bilateral, to come to support us. So for getting it right, but the road ahead is quite tough. I mean, if you were around, let me give you a comparison. In the 1983s, when we talk about economic recovery came in with so many difficulties, to the extent that we even designed a program called a program to mitigate the social cost of the adjustment, because the vulnerable and the poor were becoming more poorer. And once they're becoming more poorer, then the country is not on the position of turning around. That's what I'm saying. That I always quote Mr. Ken Thompson, Dilex. He said that the journey for us for the next 10 years, from what he has said and what I have known and the literature that I've read, the journey ahead is quite tough, going to be very, very tough.
What timelines do we have in paying the coupon rates on the monies borrowed?
I think if you listen to the bilateral people are saying that by 2026, we should start And then the multilateral, I mean, these international creditors, the capital market people, they are talking about 2028, 2029. So that is the timelines. And the timelines is that are we going to create a sinking funds so that we'll build the reserves to be able to pay the debt? And if you're not exporting enough, you cannot build it, because already we are with the balance of payment position showing that we are always in trade deficit. It means we are importing more than we are exporting. And because we are exporting more, our currency begin to depreciate. And now the question for the country for us to do is, what are we going to do? What strategies are? It's very, very important. Other than that, I said it on your platform, I think about a week ago.
Yes.
If we don't behave very well, we will go the Argentina and Greek trajectory, where every 4 years we have to go and reschedule our debt. But if we can get focused leaders, begin to look at expenditure cuts, serious expenditure cuts, we'll be able to make a lot of savings to be able to build the reserves for future payment. That is the only way we have to go. Other than that, it will be in 2026, maybe not very difficult, but 2029, when the capital market comes in, the international capital, then it's going to be very, very tough for us.
Beyond expenditure cuts, what else can we do? What are some of these strategies, Doc?
Well, my first strategy, which I will recommend, and which I don't think is a very difficult strategy. Recently, in one of my lectures at Ghana National Chamber of Commerce, I enumerated, if they only would listen to me, if any people will only listen to me, I don't think there is too much wahala ahead. Okay. But it would demand focused leaders. Like, I'm going to tell you something. In a country where you import 1.2 billion worth of rice every year, in a country where you import poultry feed 600 million every year, in a country where you import tomatoes from Burkina Faso every year, in a country where you basically import everything, it means that your city will not be firm. So I urge them is that let us get out from this draconian economic Gordon-Gagisberg economic strategy that we've held on from 1924 up to today. We must make a serious diversification in our export development and strategy, so that instead of importing rice, we can be exporting maize. We can grow maize in such a way that we export it. We can even poultry. We can develop our poultry sector so that we're not going to bring these cheap meat from Europe and America, where they produce it by other genetics or anything. And we must also revisit. This is a very key strategy. The leaders must visit the mining companies, especially the gold. I mean, last year, it will shock you that we extracted and exported, we extracted 7.6 billion worth of gold. It will shock to you, your hearing and your listeners. Ghana only obtained less than 1,900,000,000 and something. It is not, which is equivalent to 13%. Let the Ghanaian leaders travel to Botswana and engage them how they manage to do the diamond business, where instead of 10% and 15%, now Botswana is enjoying at least 25 to 30% of the diamond reserves. We need to go and renegotiate. I mean, we can't extract our resources and take only 10 to 13%. We are not fair to ourselves. And that is the first strategy. The second one that I'll plead with you through your platform, I've been talking about remittances and people seem to have shut it down. This morning, I got a message from Nigeria, and not a message. I stumbled on the data from Nigeria. And Honorable Taiwo Oyedele, the chairman of the fiscal policy and tax reform of His Excellency, the President. Do you know what he said? Digital or fintech ropes in nearly 20 billion to Nigeria. And to shock to my bones, They only get 10% into the foreign exchange market. So by this, if our fintech for the last 2 years has gotten 8 billion, and not even 10% has come into the foreign exchange market, let the people who design the fintech, let the people who look at the Foreign Exchange Act revisit it and say that, look, we need to do this. If we do that, we'll be able to get enough from the foreign exchange from the remittances. And then the cocoa and gold can give us a little support to cushion us for a future payment.
Okay, Doc. Thank you very much. As always, your wealth of knowledge is appreciated.
It's a pleasure.
That's Dr. Richmond Etuahene. He is a banking consultant. This is Newsroom. We're back with more stories after this breather. Stay tuned in. Welcome back from the break. This is Newsroom here on GHOne TV. Now, Speaker of Parliament Alban Kingsford Sumana Bagmin says he's committed to ensuring that the 2024 elections are conducted in a free and fair manner to avoid chaos in the country. According to him, the country is at a crossroads and heating, which could potentially lead to the peace and security being threatened if elections are not conducted transparently.
Speaking at a press soiree in Kumasi, the Speaker of Parliament said the lawmaking House, the Chief Justice and the Asante-Hene have all committed to ensuring that the December polls are transparent. According to him, a bipartisan committee will be set up to check the activities of the Electoral Commission.
What we are facing today up to 7th December 2024, the elections, is a very serious situation. And Ghanaians, I plead with all of you, we have to change our attitude. We either break the mold in this election or we lose everything. The 2024 election is a very serious election. And I want all of you to be up to the game. The place, as usual, is heating up. We don't want to experience any violence. We want to have a free, fair, transparent, and credible elections.
Mr. Bagbin indicated that Ghana is not far from what is happening in Kenya, hence appropriate measures should be taken to guide the work of the Electoral Commission.
In a decisive crackdown on illegal mining activities, the Rapid Response Team and the Forest Services Division of the Forestry Commission have arrested 30 illegal miners and immobilized 2 excavators in 2 forest reserves. This bold move marks a significant step in the ongoing battle against the environmental degradation caused by galamsey operations in the country's protected forest reserves.
Miners operating. Actions of illegal miners underscore the nation's resolve to protect its forest reserves from the ravages of illegal mining activities. A latest operation conducted on Friday, June 28 in the Takwa district arrested 19 illegal miners operating in the Bonsa River Forest Reserve, specifically in the Aboso North Range. This followed an earlier operation on June 12, which saw the arrest of 12 suspects in the same reserve, with evidence of their round-the-clock operations. The suspects have been handed over to the Takwa Police Command for further investigation and prosecution. In a related development, 2 excavators and a motorbike were immobilized in the Apramprama Forest Reserve near Kobro in the Bekwai district of the Ashanti region. However, the culprits managed to escape upon seeing the team. Illegal operators in the Apramprama Forest Reserve have shifted to nighttime operations to evade capture, prompting the Commission to enhance their night patrols and gather intelligence, leading to the successful immobilization of the excavators. These operations are a clear message to illegal miners that the Forestry Commission will not relent in its efforts to protect the environment. Currently, there are 21 pending illegal mining cases involving over 111 accused arrested in forest reserves across the Western region. These cases are at various stages of prosecution at the 2nd D High Court 2 and the Takrady Circuit Court. The efforts of the Forestry Commission and its partners highlight the critical need for a collective approach to protect Ghana's natural resources. as the country continues to fight against illegal mining, the importance of community involvement and robust legal frameworks cannot be overstated.
Now, the National Health Insurance Authority has released some 500,000 cedis to 6 health facilities to provide free dialysis sessions for kidney patients. In a statement, the NHI disclosed that the move follows the government's promise to absorb the cost of dialysis treatment for kidney patients of the ages below 18 and above 60 years. The 6 providers, namely the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, Lefiankwanta Regional Hospital, Ho Teaching Hospital, Tamale Teaching Hospital, and the Kolibu Teaching Hospital, all submitted their respective list of chronic dialysis patients that received treatment in June and have subsequently been paid. According to the authority, the arrangement was approved by Parliament within the NHI's allocation formula for 2024 and was initiated in June. Let's touch on some security issues. Member of Parliament for Wa West and member of the Defence and Interior Committee in Parliament, Peter Lanshene-Tobu, has urged the Minister of Interior, Henry Quartey, to address rumours about plans by the government to replace the IGP, Dr. George Akufu-Dampare. He says despite the police service's rebuttal, describing the rumours as false, government as the appointing authority needs to bring closure to the matter by publicly addressing it. He warns that the rumours could create unnecessary tension in the police service. He spoke to us on the Morning Star.
People probably do not understand these things. The position of Inspector General of Police is the most insecure position in government appointment. Why? Because the day you are appointed, the next morning you are on your way out on daily basis until one day the president decides to say, yeah, today is the day, and you are out. So if somebody says that, oh, they are removing the IGP because of the report, there is nowhere in the Constitution, and it has never been the practice, that even if the president decides to remove an Inspector General of Police, he is bound to assign reasons. Nobody has ever done that. Come what is me. I think that I have heard the stories, and I've also read from the police that we should disregard such very evil rumors, because there are some national security implications of rumors of this nature. And I'm expecting the Minister of Interior to issue a statement this morning, immediately. If the President intends to remove the IGP, let it be so. If that is not true, the Minister of Interior should immediately issue a statement, consolidating the statement issued by the police, and let all of us know that when we talk about matters of security in this country, it is not a joke. Let's not be playing with these things, because it has dire implications even on the psyche of the IG for him to be able to sit and work.
Away from security, we focus on the rule of law as the president of the Ghana Bar Association, Yao Echampong Boafo, has bemoaned the categorization of some lawyers as political lawyers. According to him, there was nowhere in the training codes of judges that one is trained as an NDC, NPP or a CPP judge, and urged members of the bar to uphold the integrity of the profession. Justice Cecilia Kranting Ado, Justice Fred Pokusakode and Justice Kwadre J. Ajapong and Major Samakwa were abducted from their homes during curfew hours under the PNDC regime and murdered in cold blood. The president of the Ghana Bar Association, while addressing a gathering of judges, lawyers and families at the 42nd anniversary remembrance service for the 3 High Court judges who were murdered some 42 years ago, said peace is what the country needs.
Mr. Speaker, honored.
There is no training module at the Judicial Training Institute known as MPP judge, NDC judge, CPP judge, for anyone to tag a judge as an MPP judge, an NDC judge or CPP judge. There is only one judiciary established under Chapter 11. I want to place on record that as a member of the Appointments Committee of the Judicial Council, at no stage of the interview and evaluation process of an appointment to any level of the judiciary is a political affiliation or leanings of an applicant a requirement. Reported accounts and commentaries about the events of 30th June 1982 in terms of antecedents and aftermath reveal men and actors who were driven by hate, prejudice, intolerance and violence. We must ensure that our judges we must ensure that our actions never again lead to the martyrdom of any.
Meanwhile, the strike action of the jurors is currently biting hard on justice delivery and impeding the expeditious trial of indictable cases at the High Courts. The trial of Daniel Asiedu, also known as Sexy Dondon, Richard Appiah and Pius Ayoma, among others, have all suffered another adjournment following the absence of jurors for 6 weeks since May 16, 2024. The jurors have laid down their tools over 10 months unpaid allowances. On Monday, July 1, Justice Lydia Osei-Marfo's hope for the return of the jurors was for Daniel Asiedu's trial to resume was dashed. Similarly, Justice Ruby Aite's court could only adjourn the case of Richard Appiah to July 22. EIB Network's court correspondent who is in court said more cases involving the jurors are all being adjourned. He joins me via Zoom. Motola, another day for adjournments because the jurors are absent. Is this biting?
Well, Lily, it is really, really biting. If you ask me, if you come to the premises of the court, you realize that the cases in which the jurors are required have all suffered one adjournment to the other, particularly today. In fact, since last week, it has been the same story over and over again. And today, nothing has changed. The case of Sexy Dondon, Daniel Asiedu, who is currently in the witness box testifying. Notice that he has stepped up into the witness box to testify in relation to the charge of murder of the late J.B. Dankwa Edu. He is at the point of concluding with his evidence in chief when the jurors embarked on a strike sometime May 16, and it's been 6 weeks since then. They are not back. Today, that matter came on before Justice Lydia Osei-Marfo, and the only thing that could happen is that the court will have to adjourn the matter, and this same has been done. In fact, the court is hoping that by tomorrow or Wednesday, that is July 2nd or July 3rd, the jurors will be back for this very case to continue. That is not the only case that also suffered an adjournment today. The case involving the attempted murder, Pius Ayoma, the young man who is alleged to have attempted to kill his former boss, has also been adjourned. Prosecution was calling witnesses to ask to come and testify, continue with the examination, the testimonies, I must say, before the court. That did not happen. It has also been adjourned. Then the case involving the Abesin murder case where Richard Appiah, a 28-year-old man, is also facing the 2 counts of murder. That case also came on before Justice Ruby Aite, Criminal Court 1. And similarly, the case has been adjourned. The parties were supposed to meet with the jurors to, as it were, take dates for the commencement of the trial sometime next year, in the next legal vacation, which will start in October. But of course, when the case was called, prosecution represented by Nanama Edinkra was present. The lawyers, defense lawyers were present, but of course the jurors were absent. The same thing happened to the Sexy Dondon and the Richard Pius Ayoma, with prosecution led by Sefako Bache, a principal state attorney, was present. Lawyers of Daniel Asiedu led by lawyer Yao Dankwa, all of them were present in court, but missing in the courtroom were the jurors. So, in fact, Lily, if you come to the court, it's not, apart from the 3 cases that I have mentioned, some other cases which require the presence of the jurors. The issue of Safina Mohammed, that murder, has also been suffering an adjournment one way or the other. And of course, some other cases that require the services of the jurors. So that is the situation now. Now it has become very clear that the absence of the jurors is creating a lot of difficulty for the judges who are presiding over the case. Their hands are being forced, their hands are tied. They only have to adjourn the cases as and when they are being called. And today is not an exception. Now,
Murtala, beyond the suffering of cases as a result of the jurors' absence, I know that the Beige Bank case is back in court. The 15th defense witness is still mounting the witness box. What's the update on that? Has the case been called yet?
So, in respect of that very case, it has been earmarked for 12 o'clock before Justice Efia Sewa Saribuchi Amatsi. But one case which is currently underway is a case involving Dr. Stephen Kwabena Opuni, the Cocoa Board case.
Okay.
As we speak, the 6th defense witness of Seydou Agogo, the businessman, and his company, Agricot Ghana Limited, is before Justice Abuaji Tando testifying. In fact, this is day 2 of his testimony in chief or his evidence in chief, and he's actually undergoing that particular situation or processes as I came out to engage you. So that case is ongoing. With respect to the bench bank, at 12 o'clock, that case will also be called.
All right, Mutala, thank you very much. We'll leave it here for now, but I'll come back to you later in subsequent belts. Away from the courts, let's touch on an alleged ritual murder in the northern region, as 2 children have been found dead at Kpakpaili in the Tamale metropolis of the northern region. The residents suspect that the children were murdered for ritual purposes, as their decomposed bodies were abandoned in a vehicle behind one Alhaji Abdul Rahman Madaha's house. According to the assemblyman for the Kpakpaili electoral area, Hafiz Andani, the 2 children, both aged 3, went missing last Saturday. The search was conducted for the boys, but after 2 days of not finding them, an official complaint was made to the police. The decomposing bodies were those of minors whose parents reported them missing 2 weeks ago. The situation has angered the youth of the area, who have set ablaze Alhaji Abdul Rahman Mahadaha's house as the prime suspect. The Ghana police is still at the crime scene to prevent further attacks. Let's cross over to Tamale and engage our northern regional correspondent, Noah Nash. So Noah joins me via Zoom. Noah, it's afternoon now. Good afternoon to you. What can you report to us at this time?
I can tell you for a fact that we have a lot of crowd at a particular scene, which is not far away from me. And the youth have warned that they will actually vandalize other homes that are owned by the same Alhaji. And so currently the deployment of more police personnel is ongoing. The police commander is currently here. The allegation that was made by the assemblyman, which is actually the comment made by the residents, is that the main complainant, who happens to be the children's father, apparently is still in police custody.
Okay.
And they feel that it is unfair to have the one who actually lodged the complaint at the police headquarters to actually be in police cells when he should have been on the grounds. And the one who is also the suspect, whose house next to his house, where the bodies were found, is actually on a loose and is apparently not getting the required police detention. But he is already being allowed to go. And the man who is apparently the main complainant is in police custody. So that is what is agitating the youth, and the youth actually want to burn one of the houses. So the tenant in those houses have been asked to vacate the place immediately, and which is currently happening. But the police are quite helpless in this situation as I speak to you now.
And I'm sure you've engaged the police now. What have they been telling you? Why is the complainant in police custody?
It's not about the complainant in police detention. That is the answer they are giving to us. The police are of the view that they need to protect certain information, and also the person who was actually granted bail, it's not his home that the items or the bodies were found, and other items that they are complaining about. So that is what is actually causing a lot of the agitations we are seeing. But the police have not been able to give a tentative explanation as why they've kept him in detention.
Okay. No, I will leave it here for now. Thank you very much. I'll keep monitoring and update us subsequently. So that's our Northern Regional Correspondent, Noah Nash. Now, for you as a Ghanaian or a resident in Ghana, bear with me that this is not so much of a good news, because the cost of electricity is up by 5.8% and water by 5.1%, following a tariff adjustment approved by the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission for residential use. There will be 3.45% increase in electricity tariffs for Lifeline consumers, 5.84% increase for all other residential consumers who are not part of the Lifeline category bracket, as well as the non-residential category. The PURC said, however, The industrial category will experience an increase in electricity tariffs of 4.92%. For you as a consumer, what does it mean to you? Let's find out what you've been telling us on our various social media pages. Nanama Akwa joined me. Nanama, what are people saying? Are they angry?
Lily, as you said, it's bad news. Netizens are not happy. So let's move straight over to Facebook, where Kindell says, always, these utilities go up. Stanley says, when PhD holders are ruling a country called Ghana. Still on this PhD discussion. Kobe adds, so how do they want us to survive in this country? It's very painful. Yao adds, Kenya-Ghana version reloaded. Then Ishmael, so sad for we the citizens, and I believe the leaders are okay and happy because they don't get affected in any way because they are behind these price hikes. God will provide for us all in Jesus' name. Then Sheriff says, I think the Flagstaff House should also be sold because it's not making any reasonable profit and influences for the past 8 years. Grand style of Kenya reloading. Then Obin says, it's high time for we the youth of this country to do away with our party colours and wear the national colours and rise against our leaders. If not, they shall continue doing what shall benefit them. Papa J says, no job for the citizens, but everyday increments. Then we have Ephraim Oyua, those young men and women shouting, break the 8, over to you. Then Nicholas says they should just sell the country. We are tired. We have here Francis, electricity increment today, water increment today, fuel increment today, LPG increment today, cement increment today, and asks, what crime have Ghanaians committed against this MPP government on July 1st? Then when we move over to X, we have here, we are tired of them. They should do what they want. And our last comment here, Stanley says, no worries, it can go up. What will you guys do if there's no money to pay? What will you do indeed? My name is Nanama Akwa. Lily, back over to you.
Thank you very much, Nanama. Those are interesting comments, by the way. Let's head to the world of business. In business this afternoon, traders and business leaders in Ghana are calling for the complete removal of the electronic transactions levy, question the e-levy on mobile money transactions. Implemented 2 years ago by the government, the e-levy was intended to raise additional revenue to support government programs. Now, the applicable charge has undergone reviews to protect lower-income consumers, but has had limited impact. My colleague Rosemond Akwoko Ajete has been engaging the business community and now reports.
Mobile money has significantly improved financial inclusion in Ghana since its introduction, bridging the gap for the unbanked and providing employment opportunities, particularly for the youth. According to the Bank of Ghana's summary of the economic and financial outlook for the first 4 months of the year 2024, the total value of mobile money transactions reached 779.1 billion Ghana cedis, representing a 41.55% year-on-year growth. However, data revealed a slight decline in March 2024 to 181.9 billion Ghana cedis, followed by an increase to 203 billion cedis in April 2024. Despite its positive impact on economic growth and financial inclusion, the business community argues that high tax burdens, including the e-levy, have driven many to revert to using physical cash.
Because of the e-levy, even if you want to send to somebody, if the person is not far, what the person will say is that maybe if you think you are not far, you meet me here and give me the money. Because I can sit here and send money to somebody in Timpani or even in Boku here. But imagine sending money up to 50,000 or a huge money. Then either you go to the station and get a colleague or a friend who is going to maybe Boku or Bolga, then you give the money to the person, or you go to the bank.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications, Engineer Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, noted that although the levy was reduced to 1%, the sector is experiencing only nominal growth. He expressed hope that the levy would be scrapped.
I'm hopeful that come January 2025, whether it is Vice President Bawumia or his ex-president John Mahama who are president, e-levy will not be a thing, that will be a thing of the past. And then in the process, we should be able to then grow our financial inclusion, push our digitalization strategy, get a lot more of the adoption of using digital channels for payment. And then you would be able to, in the process, get a lot more businesses to use it. And then GRA would also have a lot more visibility, and then they can go after the corporate income taxes.
Visits to mobile money agents and traders in Boku in the Upper East region and Accra's Central Market revealed that transactions are gradually decreasing as traders resort to alternative methods for sending money.
They receive, but not like those days. It has reduced. Some people don't have options, but those that have options, they go to the bank to do their transactions. And some people don't have transactions. The few that don't have options, they come to deposit. So in general, I would say that our business, our transactions has gone down due to the introduction of the e-levy.
In fact, the e-levy, it really affects our business a lot. Like, for instance, those people who are transacting business with that, due to the e-levy, some of them have dumped their SIMs because of the charges. In fact, you can even have like 1,000 in your phone to transfer a customer, in which what you are buying, the profit inside there will not be less than 20 cedis, but the e-levy can take you up to 30 cedis or 25 cedis.
Consumer activist and digital expert Samuel Dowona told GHOne News that abolishing the e-levy would promote the cashless agenda and enhance financial inclusion.
Now businesses have stopped making transfers. They've gone back to checks. The very paper thing that we say we are moving in because of which we want to do digitization. Now a lot of people are going back to checks, because if I issue a check, I'm not going to be paying any 20,000. Imagine a business paying maybe a staff about 1,500 or 2,000. 20,000 is going to pay 10 people's salary, and you say we should use that to pay tax for just one transfer.
Some financial experts are calling for a re-evaluation of the e-levy, urging policymakers to find a balance that supports both revenue generation and the continued growth of mobile money services to sustain a cashless economy and ensure financial inclusion. Reporting for GH1 and Star News, Rosemond Akwoko Ajeti.
That's it for the Business Brief.
The business segment was brought to you by Bills Microcredit Limited.
Away from business, the Right to Information Commission in 2023 imposed a total fine of 1 million cedis on 23 state agencies for refusing to honor requests. The commission also recovered over 2 million cedis in administrative fines in the year under review. This was revealed by Information Minister Fatimatu Abubakar when she appeared in Parliament to brief the House on the status of the implementation of the RTI Act. The minister urged state agencies to readily comply with the Act when information requests are made.
Mr. Speaker, on administrative penalties and recoveries, the Commission imposed administrative penalties to the sum of 1 million Ghana cedis on 23 non-compliant public institutions in the year 2023. At the end of the reporting year, the Commission had made recoveries of administrative penalties to the tune of 2,043,571.44 Ghana cedis. This includes administrative penalties imposed in the preceding year of 2022 and 2021. Mr. Speaker, on applications for access to information, the successful implementation of the RTI law in Ghana partly depends on the demand for access to information by individuals institutions, or groups. In accordance with Section 1 of the Act 989, a person is the one who has the right to information and may apply for access to that information.
And so that's it for the news. My name is Lily Mohammed. For more news updates, kindly log on to starfm.com.gh. Have a good afternoon.